Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
So welcome back to the show, you guys. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni.
We made it back, friends.
We did.
So on the scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it to show up this week?
Oh, it was probably like a 4.
4? Okay, good. That's good news.
Of all the things I've been doing, because you were saying like was 10 too early. Like I heard 10-17, but still no. Like I've been having to like make it to places like 8, 9 during the week. I've been describing this past week as a high octane week.
Man.
Would you have described your week like that?
Absolutely. And I'd even
I can always tell because like I never hear from you when you're having one of those weeks.
I can go even farther and just say that like the month of May in general, I would imagine for a lot of people, it's just extremely busy. Like we're talking about schools coming to a close. We have lots of weddings and bridal showers.
I want you to do it like what's up? We talking about schooling? We talking about bride showers?
We're talking about this and that. And I got to say, ooh,
yeah.
What's up with that? Yeah, it feels very much like
DeAndre
Cole or whatever his name was.
It was DeAndre Cole.
Okay, on SNL, just like that guy.
You be talking about you don't remember stuff, but you
but
pulled
who
that
cares?
right out your pocket.
Who even cares? Like, why do you remember that? But also, what did I even do last week? It's ridiculous. But yeah, so high octane is a great way to describe it. And that includes
you don't
today.
look like what you've been through.
Oh God, thank you. That is so nice.
Yeah.
I actually feel better personally a little bit because I was having some issues that like I feel like are resolving themselves now. So I'm like, okay. So I'm starting to feel a little bit better. And then I think the warm weather helps too. Being in the Midwest.
Like I said, I told you before, predicting like sort of style patterns.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
so
it's
funny.
because a lot of times I'm coming out of my winter depression. So I want to
reflect that.
For people who are watching, Kat's got a pink pony right
It's
now.
so
I keep saying I'm in the
cute.
pink pony club.
And it matches.
And for one, because it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, friend.
Happy Mother's
Happy Mother's
Day.
Day.
I mean, when this comes out, it'll be over. But we should celebrate mothers all the time.
All the time.
Because
All
they're
the
probably
time.
working.
We're working right now, okay? And after this, we'll be working some more, okay?
But I think pink hair, for one, pink hair, I'm wearing pastels, but it also reminds me a lot of Steven Universe's mom.
Oh, yes.
Rose Quartz.
Yes, yes.
And just the big pink waviness of it all.
I'm
Something
into
about
it.
that gives mother and Jim.
It's very nice, friend.
Thank
you look
you.
lovely. I wasn't expecting to get this visual treat this morning. I don't know why I wasn't, but it was like,
Like you said, there's just more energy now that I can, maybe I'm solar powered.
You might be. I think I am.
Yeah.
I think we
I'm
all
sorry,
might be a
I'll
little bit.
Let me turn this down. A little notification.
That's all right. You're popular. You definitely turn that down. All right. So you guys, my gosh, I feel like we are finally here after much harassment and nudging toward this subject. We are finally going to review Sinners.
It can also be described as nagging.
Yes, or nagging.
Nagging.
Harassment.
Kat has been nagging Moni for quite a few weeks to watch this, and it worked.
It worked. All right. It's very effective. And I already wanted to see it. So it was just, I finally got it done. So this week, you guys were going to get a chance to talk about this fantastic movie. And before we get into it, I do want to give you all a little bit of a synopsis of this movie. So Sinners is a genre-blending horror film set in 1932 Mississippi, weaving together themes of race, faith, music, and supernatural horror. The story centers on twin brothers trying to leave their troubled past behind, while returning to their Mississippi hometown to start again as they discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Dun, dun,
Dun, dun. I mean, there's a lot in there.
A lot in there, you guys. So, yeah, it's crazy because I didn't realize, I didn't know much about Sinners before I actually saw it. I don't know how, I haven't been on social media like that. And so I really didn't know what all was going to be. I just don't be feeling like it. I don't be feeling like
I was just joking. You've been very busy. You have to sit down to be on social media.
I mean, a little bit. Like, I'll go in there and, like the things
Tap
and try
in,
to tap in a bit. But, I just haven't felt like it. So, I managed to kind of miss the whole part that it was like a vampire thing. Because I think you were saying that. You were like, how? don't know. But
It's funny because when I went with my daughter, she said the same
I was
thing.
like,
When the
what?
vampire showed up, she was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
But I remember
It was a fun
a lot
surprise.
of people have been comparing it to From Dusk Till Dawn with Selma Hayek.
Okay.
And I remember when I saw that movie, I didn't know it was a vampire flick.
Oh, okay.
So it is fun. I think it's a fun surprise.
Whoa. Definitely a
me.
fun surprise.
But the first time I heard about it, I think it just something popped up online, and it was just a scene, and you see Michael B. Jordan like as Smoke, and he's got the wife beater on, and he's covered in like blood, and there's fire in the background. So I knew
wow.
it was
Something was going on.
yeah,
Wow.
because I wasn't gonna see it at first. I was like, this looks too scary.
Ah, you almost played
Fire and
yourself,
blood?
friend. Right. Both together? Yes. Okay. So guys, this I'll give you a little bit of the stats on this. So this was released April 17th. April 17th of
Here, you can-
2025.
They're not gonna drag away the podcast. You can slow down. You can take your time with it.
That was me taking my time. That's what's crazy.
Was it?
A little bit.
Oh, well, maybe
I
even
talk
slower.
fast. I listen fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you're from the city. You're one of them city girls.
I guess.
Tap
not
into
the way
your
I
country girl.
She right there. So release date, April the 17th, 2025. This was directed by the Ryan Coogler. The running time was 2 hours and 17 minutes, and the budget for this film was $90 million. The producers, Ryan Coogler, Sev Ohanian, and Zinzi Coogler. Is that
The wife.
Zinzi is her name? Zinzi?
Yeah.
Shut up. Let's go, Zinzi.
They're so cute.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was her name though.
Yeah,
But shout out to
yeah.
you, my love. That's what's up. Yeah. So, and what's crazy is that right now, the last estimate, because I was like, well, how much has it made now? And it's 264 million worldwide, and it's earned 199.8 million domestically in the United States and Canada. So, yeah. I
Wow.
mean, let's talk about
For an original R-rated movie. Because you gotta keep in mind too, this isn't general audiences either. Because usually the movies that make bank are kid movies,
yeah, or it's
family
like,
film.
Yeah,
you know,
for
that's
sure.
something that everybody can see. It makes
Harry
sense. It's
Potter.
a larger population.
Sure.
But even Harry Potter was PG-13 after a certain point, so
Yes,
that
and
takes
this
a
is
lot
R,
of kids out of it
yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, when you're looking at the job, and we bring up the money because we usually don't even bring up how much stuff makes, but it's become part of the story.
It is part of the story because I feel like there was some article that came out
In
about
Variety.
this Variety where it was kind of like, well,
It's got a long way to go before it makes up that $90 million budget. It's
but it
like,
made 60 million the first 3 days,
which is pretty incredible. It's more than
We
The
only got-
Accountant, who also had a similar budget and made $13 million.
The
They didn't bring that up.
Accountant.
Thank you. The Accountant too, with Ben Affleck, not even on your radar. That's okay.
So
It
scared.
doesn't have to be. You don't know, and you don't have to.
Okay, thank
but
you.
It was just as a
Take the
comparison point as to how that wasn't the
Ah.
story around that particular movie, but somehow
Oh.
it's the story around this particular movie.
Wonder what that's about.
Well, we may never know. What a mystery.
Okay, well, like, so that we can actually get into this, friend, we do like to do this thing called a dedication where we offer our appreciation up. So let's do that before we get into the full episode.
Strongly agree.
Okay, so hands over your hearts, everyone. As always, we want to first and foremost shout out our wonderful, beautiful patrons. Thank you so much for your continued support, you guys. Also, if you guys aren't patrons, go over to Patreon, the Fab Podcast, and check out our bonus content there. Support our show. And also, just this week, I wanted to personally shout out the storytellers everywhere. The Firekeepers, the griots, or I don't know if it's griots, but the keepers of culture, the people who keep our stories going, the ones that never let us forget. Thank you so much. It's so important. I think last week reading Matriarch, this week tapping in for Sinners, just sort of illustrates the importance of storytelling, the importance of sharing our experiences in art and otherwise. And so, yeah, I just feel really grateful for that. So shout out to the storytellers everywhere, friend. What about you?
So my dedication this week, I have a couple. Dedications, so bear with me. My first dedication is going out to Living Single, which what are the actresses' name? I call them Max and Sinclair. They have
Erica Alexander.
And Kim Cole.
Kim Cole.
They just launched a podcast called Reliving Single. Enjoying that.
Great idea.
And also another podcast, What Now with Trevor Noah. He recently had on one of his friends who's an artist, and his name is Derek. I want to make sure I say it right. Derek Forger. And Forjour, maybe. And he's a visual artist, and they had an amazing conversation I found so inspiring, especially because I was painting at the time.
Aww.
And it's really beautiful. I'll probably share more about that later because I want to turn it into a reel. And then also to everyone who told me I look tired this week, shout out to you. Here's a helpful hint from the Fake Ass Book Club. Don't tell anybody that. Like, that's never necessary, because if they are tired, just help them. And if they're not tired, you just told them they look tired. So, dedication over.
Yeah, you never feel good about that. It's always like,
Who does that help?
Thanks
Yeah.
for the...
Yeah. And it's like, because I am tired.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a high octane.
So what you gonna do about it? Yeah, it's just, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure there's no malice in it when it's said, but it's like also
not.
just
usually
read the
them
room though.
Trying to express concern.
Yeah.
But
Hand me a Starbucks gift card.
if you would like to change, it's almost saying stop looking tired.
Right, because it's like affecting you negatively. It's like, I don't like seeing you like this. It's like, well, I don't like being like this, but also, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Permanent bags, friend. I got those. But anywho, I agree with the messaging there. So let's get into the film, friend. We already talked about how this movie has surpassed, a lot of the expectations. I think what I really love about this was what we tapped in on a little bit before, is that a lot of the movies that come out now are definitely movies that are, already a thing, right?
Like
we
the
have,
MCU.
Yeah, like the MCU, or they're just remakes. Like I feel like there's always, this thing where there's
like Creed, because that was another film
Ryan Coogler
he did,
film.
but that was
Coogler.
part of, because people keep bringing up this is the first time that it's his property. Like it's, because that was another thing about his deal. He, after 25 years, he owns this movie.
Yes, I love that.
That is amazing. Actually, while we're talking about Ryan, let me give you some stats about Mr. Ryan Coogler.
Let's do it, friend.
Ryan Kyle Coogler is an American filmmaker. He is a recipient of 10 NAACP Image Awards and 4 Black Reel Awards, and has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards, a Golden Globe, and a Grammy Award. He's 38, so
Let's
young,
go.
married to Zinzi Evans, and went to California State University, Sacramento, and he's got some kids, and he's got siblings. And he's also got receipts, because this movie.
Man, he's a creator. He's a storyteller. Shout out to
and
you.
Black Panther. You got to bring up
Obviously,
Black Panther
both.
too. Like, for people who don't know, in case you just got here, he also directed both of those films.
Iconic,
really
beautiful.
well.
Yes, he
And he
outdid
teamed
himself.
up with Ruthie Carter again.
Man,
For the costumes, because that was
she's good at her job, man.
every bit of storytelling. We'll get there.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so, like, you were mentioning his sort of IP deal that he had, and I guess this isn't like, this deal does exist. Like, this does happen for artists, but I don't know how many Black artists have the opportunity to
Negotiate
something like that. So he gets first dollar gross revenue share. And then, like you said, he gets the rights to the film back after 25 years, which is pretty significant. And it gives you that credit, and it gives you control. And I think, when you look at where the film is now, after only, it's not even been out a full month, and it's already like,
it's killer.
it's killing. And yeah, just it being
It's
original.
coming back to IMAX, because it had left for a while,
Okay.
and now it's coming back. Because I didn't get a chance to. I've seen it twice, but not yet in IMAX, and it was filmed for IMAX.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'll get a chance next week to see it in IMAX.
Well, I think I'm gonna go back and see it, because my husband hasn't seen it yet. So we're gonna go back. I was able to sneak off and go see it by myself, so I'm glad I did.
Yay! I'm glad you did too.
Yeah, I was like, okay, do I?
So do you understand why I wouldn't shut up about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a feeling it was gonna be really, really good. It just was like, I always just have a really hard time stopping doing work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I am a workhorse. Like I will just keep going and keep going and keep going and
Yeah.
keep going. So it's just hard to stop sometimes. But yeah, it was nice because I was like, you know
like
what?
we read a book about that.
We probably
Did
did. We probably did.
We should re-listen to that episode because
probably me
it's
too.
not just your problem.
No, it's a
like,
problem.
No, Moni's the only one who does this. Everybody else has very
yes, I'm
balanced
so unique
lives.
and just
No, I mean, it's something we all have to be like, ooh,
Slow down.
Like it's
Gym
gonna,
shoes.
yeah, but it is hard to get that message,
So
especially when
hard.
your habit in your life has been like, because it's what's been required for so long.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to step back and be like, oh, actually,
I can just kick my feet up in the middle of the day and watch a movie.
Yeah.
No.
And I love, like I said, we've got this young black man in this media space that we don't usually see, but which I love to see. I'd love to see more, and not just black men. I think when people hear you say that, you're thinking like you want to keep everybody else out. No, I want to hear. I like this as a sign that we're going to get to hear more and more voices, and even bringing up the reliving single. I love these rewatch podcasts because it is like time travel, and I get to connect with a part of myself much younger and re-examine messages that I got, because would you
That's so
agree
true.
that we're programmable
100%.
as human beings?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why we're a lot of times guarded about the type of media we let our children watch.
Yeah.
And understanding like, wow, this really formed me in a lot of ways that I'm not even aware of.
Yeah.
Like they got so in good ways,
Yes,
like in good
yes, it
ways. And so I think that's why what we do is important, and I'm really glad that my children get to experience something like Sinners. Like this is something that's going to be something they experience so early.
Yeah.
Because I liked a lot of the messages in it.
I did too. There was a lot of big themes. And I want to just tap in real quick on just the setting for the movie, because I thought it was a real interesting choice to set a vampire movie like in Mississippi in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta. I mean, it's not. It kind of reminded me of, a Feast of All Saints, I guess.
I was gonna say it reminds me of Anne Rice's vampire series, because that was real heavy in the South.
So
Like she'd either be in Europe or the South.
And I like it because it almost feels like historical fiction, even though.
You wouldn't. I think I
Would this-
fully.
would you think this would be- yeah, for
the
sure.
fact that they reference Al Capone.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to sort of assume that the twins caused the Valentine's Day massacre in Chicago by blaming the Irish and the Italians for the theft.
For stealing the beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's
I
cute.
think it's solidly historical fiction.
Yeah, so that would explain probably why I really liked it too, because I love when the stories are rooted in like historical facts of like the time period, but then of course the characters aren't necessarily real characters, but they're having an authentic experience in this time frame, and
That
so
you can still learn from,
that
even
you
if it's
can-
fiction.
Romel, I feel like if you're listening,
I'm so good at letting things go.
I hope he's on the train right like this hoe. Okay. But yeah, like I just thought, wow, that's a really fun. Not even fun, because I mean that time frame was really actually tumultuous, but I like
Brutal.
it was brutal, and I'm like, whoa. So he's going there, like you're putting these folks square in the middle of some shit right here.
Well, you know what else it reminded me of too? Lovecraft Country.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. I didn't even think about that.
Well, that's why I'm
yeah.
here, to give you my opinions
Thank
and stuff I
you.
thought about.
I didn't think about that.
That's why I showed up.
Oh
But
my
no,
God.
it's just just because I wanted to re-listen to the companion podcast to Lovecraft Country, because the showrunner for that and the writer was on there talking about how like showing racism and horror, those two things go together really well.
Promise you, I was like, yes, because
But she was saying that racism's scarier because monsters follow the rules. Whereas one of the things that is so nerve-wracking about racism is the rules keep changing.
yeah, wow, they do. Okay, so put a pin in that. Let's come back to how racism and horror kind of go together, because I think that was a big theme in the movie. But I don't know if you want to go over the characters first or just do a general quick overview of the story. What do you think?
Let's do an overview of the story and introduce the characters as they enter.
Okay, I like it.
I like that, because we open up, and actually it's Annie doing, because this is Ryan Coogler. He loves to start with a voiceover.
Okay.
That kind of sets the world. And because, I love how the dad was telling the story in Black Panther, that sets up our whole world. And so we have Annie who's saying like, like you said, the griots, the firekeepers. In every society, there's always these very powerful people who tell stories. And the thing about power is it can be used for good or bad. So sometimes it helps to keep the community together, and sometimes it invites evil into the community. And so that's when, you know, we go and we see who we come to know as Sammy walking up to the church, bloody, battered, and with the guitar in his head, busting in. Reminded me of Color Purple too.
Oh my God, yes! When Suge came home.
in the church, God trying to tell you something. Woo. So she busted. Because is it Easter Sunday?
It maybe, I don't know. They're all in white and stuff.
It was like a holiday. It was some kind of.
I saw it once, so I don't know.
And it's funny because it came out Easter Sunday too, so maybe I'm just projecting. Yeah. But he comes in, and then all of a sudden we flash back to find out how we got in this predicament. So come to find out, you know, Sammy, he's a sharecropper in 1932 Mississippi. And so, but all he really wants to do, he gets up early, gets his chores done because he wants to play guitar. That is his jam. And there's friction between him and his dad because his dad is a preacher man. His nickname's Preacher Boy.
Preacher Boy, yeah.
Preacher Boy. And so but what he really wants to do is hang out with his badass cousins and play music.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Doesn't it?
You.
Doesn't
Sammy.
They have a car.
Look at them, and they're fancy. They're dressed nice.
I mean, you
and
talk about dandyism
infamous too. Thank you.
Come
Let's
on,
go.
let's like okay. Oh, so here comes, and while they're having that conversation, here comes Smokestack twins. So they pull up on them, and they're like, "Hey, we're about to get this bag." And okay, so we got Michael B. Jordan playing two characters so well. So Smoke is in the blue, and then Stack is in the red, and that's how I'm kind of telling them apart. But then after a while, they're so distinct, it's crazy. And then Stack's got the little goals too. So they're basically trying to put together an Avengers team for this juke joint they're gonna open up. So they get the other musician, the older blues musician, played by what was his name?
His name Delta Slim. So that's Delroy Lindo. Yep.
Who looks exactly the same as he did in Malcolm X in the 1900s.
My God.
It's weird. Like, is he a vampire?
Right. Is he aging or not? Yep.
Anyway, but they get him, Stack runs into his old flame Mary, who is white presenting. Once again, here at the fake ass book club, we don't really believe in the concept of whiteness.
I mean, she looks white.
It is a legal social structure that we have in this country. And so she's living as a white woman, but she grew up with all them. And she was there to bury her mama, who had helped raise the twins. And, you know, her and Smoke got a little static because they used to have a thing back in the day. But, you know, she's like, oh, okay. Because it looks like she was getting on the train to leave, but she's like, oh, no, I'm going to stick around. Stack here. So
he's like, go home to your white husband. She's like, you know, I ain't never want to be with him.
So then we got Smoke, who's trying to get the cat, you know, getting the things for a good party going. He's like, you're going to have a sign, got to have some food. So he links up with the Chinese couple, Grace and Bo, and their daughter, Lisa. They're running the shop. And what's kind of interesting, you got the white shop that Grace runs across the street, and then Bo runs the black shop because it's Mississippi and everything has to be segregated.
And that's what makes America great, for the record, guys. That's what we're trying to get back to. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Moni, for that aside. Yeah, some very hardcore apartheid segregation. And but once again, he's just telling the story visually. You just see it. And if you know, because if you didn't know, you're necessarily
really
picking up on it. But like for people who know, you see it. So they get that together, boom. Oh, also the Jew joint they bought from a Klansman.
Yes.
So that ends up being important part of the story too. Like this white dude sells them this building, and so they get there, everything's going pretty good. And, oh, sorry, left this part out. So we also at the beginning of the movie we see the Choctaw Indians. I don't want to say it wrong.
We can just say it was a native.
Choctaw.
It was
I think it was Choctaw tribe, and they're chasing down this dude who's smoking, and this white family takes him in. Turns out it's a vampire.
And they were like, "Yo, he's not what you think he is," and they're looking like you engine.
So they run off. One of the only critiques I've heard of the movie that I kind of agree with is I would have liked to see more of them. in the movie.
Fair enough.
But it was
Wasn't
already
about
a
them,
long.
though.
It was already a long movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, pushing on. So anyway, they get the juke joint going, and so our big bad Remick shows up. He's the vampire. He done turned that couple into vampires, and they're trying to party. And off rip, they're like, nah. Oh, because also I skipped over Smoke and Annie. That was his old flame. She's the hoodoo woman, pretty
I like
much. She's everything. And so, but it's sad because they had a baby who didn't make it. And so they have this extreme love. They also have this extreme pain between them. So
Yeah.
he's kind of like, I miss you, but it's really hard being here and stuff like that. And you get the imagery of them putting the milk by the grave, all that stuff. Beautiful. That was very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But anyway, everybody's partying at the juke joint, get the music going. These vampires show up, and it's like, they're trying to play the little music. Actually, the little song, what'd you think of
They
the
were
song?
jamming.
Yeah, like that little...
I think they were actually jamming.
We picked Robin clean.
It was gross a little bit.
It
'cause I was like, yuck.
was. I mean...
But they played the music well.
They did.
But also it's kind of like, yeah, we're not letting y'all in here.
We
And
don't
it
need
was
that
funny
smoke.
though, because they saw Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well,
Well,
how
why
she
she
get
get to
in
be
here?
here?
I mean, like, she looked
And
white.
it was like, she family.
Right.
Don't
It's
worry
like,
about her.
about it.
We're
Yep.
talking to you.
Mind your own business.
I love that from
That
Miss
was
Tina's
good.
book,
That
man.
was
I ain't
good.
talking to them. I'm talking to you.
You. And so they skedaddled up out of there after that. They was like, okay, well, not
Yeah,
really
well,
though,
no,
kind
they're
of
like,
down
we're
the
gonna walk
road.
her so and so. Mary's like, oh, okay, let me go try to talk to him because I know. Oh, because that's the other thing too. There, and this is what was kind of interesting because bringing up Miss Tina, and she's talking about when you work in a company town like that salt mining place and stuff like that, and why a lot of times it's really important to have unions to make sure people pay you money and not just credits for the company store, because that's what everybody was using at the juke joint to a lot of times, because they didn't have currency, they just had what the sharecroppers were paying them, because that keeps you there.
And Smoke was like, man, what the hell?
I can't, this don't spend nowhere.
Right. And they were like, yo, these people don't have.
Right.
Yeah. Much
and
else.
and that's why Mary was like, hey, let me see if I can get some money out of these white folks. So she
Yeah.
tries to do that, fell for the okie doke, got bit. So now she comes back in real slick. She's like, are you gonna let me in? Because you gotta invite vampires in. That's classic vampire. Because they're not the vampires don't have the exact same rules as classic vampires, because sometimes if you kill the main one, you kill all of them.
Oh.
There's not
that
those
there.
kind of vampires, but it's the type of vampires you got to invite them in, or else they can't get in.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I liked that too, but I thought it was interesting that Mary thought that her whiteness would protect her. You know what I mean? I thought that was an interesting sort of, her realizing that, like, okay, her not knowing that they're vampires, thinking like, well, I know I can go outside and I can talk to them because I feel like there's some safety in my
and
whiteness.
not just a white lady, but a rich white lady.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I love
Affluent.
that. Listen, I've been watching so many videos about this daggone movie, and
Okay.
so you can tell by her costuming, she's wearing finer clothes than everybody else. So she's already, she's not just. Because as a lot of quote unquote legally white people know, it's not enough just to be white. You got to have money too.
That part.
So,
And you will say this a lot, is that your money doesn't protect you. I just thought, like, what a great visual
visualization of that,
representation of that concept
these
of you feeling
imaginary-
like you being white is gonna save you. But
Yeah,
at the
and
end of the
rich.
day, vampires will come and get you. It don't matter. They don't care if you're white, because vampires want your blood. They're gonna suck.
And whiteness isn't real.
It's
They
that
suck
part
the black
too.
ones
It
and the
don't
white
matter.
ones.
Don't matter.
Yep.
So I
It ain't
thought,
safe. It ain't safe.
I see what you did there, Ryan.
That was why this is such a good film.
Okay.
So she comes back in, and so she's like, because what also happens is you become kind of like a hive mind, like the Borg from Star Trek. Nailed it. And so she comes back in, and she's immediately like, I know who I'm biting first. Stack.
because he's
Also,
fine.
let me put it in that. Let me go back a little bit, because this was like real subtle storytelling, but I think Ryan wants us to know that Grace and Stack used to do it.
Grace.
The Asian woman, the Chinese woman. Because when they have that
didn't hear
scene
that.
when she's negotiating with Smoke and they come to a price and all the business is done, she looks around and she's like, where's Stack? And I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Because maybe she was trying to get a better deal, because it was like we used to hunch.
I think she's just like, it's so.
Okay. Maybe
not
I saw the
everybody,
ones-
but every once in a while, you just want to see how the person you used to mess around is doing. That's what Facebook's for.
Oh God. Where he at? What he doing? Okay, I got
just
you.
to me,
Okay,
that to
probably,
me. But
maybe.
we'll go back. Mary
Okay.
comes into the juke joint. She's like, I'm biting Stack first. So
Mm-hmm.
she does. And Sammy walks, I'm also leaving out, because this is what really attracted the vampires. I won't say in the first place, but one of the things that makes the vampires approach. Sammy sings this song.
Oh, yeah, he does.
That opens a portal between this life and the next.
Yeah.
And
damn it, Sammy.
that scene,
Jeez.
I feel like we're gonna be talking about that scene for a lot. Even my daughter, when I took her, that's what stood out to her. That scene where all the spirits come back, and Remick, he later on says like he wants that power because, like I said, he absorbs the power of everybody he brings into his little vampire coven. The opening that portal, because it's been centuries since he's seen his people, and he wants to see his people. But what did you think of that scene?
I thought it was awesome. And I love how it not only brought in the ancestors, but it kind of like, well, it does, but it gives you this linear sort of timeline throughout like musical history, coming back all the way to, you know, West Africa, I'm guessing, into, you know, even the 80s and hip hop and all the different genres of music and how they blended it, and even had some of the, I don't know what you call the traditional Chinese dancers, but they had some of those ancestors, and just, it was a really beautiful way of suggesting like just the power of music and shared culture and heritage over time, and like how that's like in us, and how like even if you aren't aware that like it connects you to them, it connects you to them. So it was again a beautiful way to visually represent seeing all of that come together and feeling like, dang, like they're with you, they're really with you. You know, that's why and a lot of storytelling happens with music and with song, and I think that was like, I mean, and especially for our, you know, ancestors, that was always something that was a big, huge part, especially like even like when you talk about like the church and stuff, which there was that interesting push and pull between. So, you know, you see Sammy in this safe space that these Black folks have created for themselves, you know, where they get to be unabashedly themselves and connect to their history and be joyful in this space. Because if you think about it, everywhere you go, you're confined. Like you go into church and there's set rules that you have to follow, and when you're not following them, then it's like you're the devil. You know what I'm saying? You can't sing this not jazz, but jazz, blues, blues music. And having to pick, you know, this really narrow binary, and then also too, like being out in the world, there's black and white, there's racism, and you know, I don't know, I just thought it was a beautiful way to illustrate like this juke joint being the representation of like a safe space that Black folks create for themselves, that they often invite other people into to share in with them, you know, and that's the only time you feel safe. So it's just, I thought that it was a really beautiful way of illustrating that. And just, you know, I mean, you got the vampires chasing, you got the white man chasing you, you got church, like, you know, trying to find your place in this world that feels authentic to your ancestors, to you. It was beautiful. I really, really enjoyed that.
I thought that was a big highlight of the film.
I agree.
And worth seeing. That makes it worth the ticket price alone, having that scene and just what it makes you feel. So hats off to everybody who did that, because that was amazing. So you come off of that big high, and then you have to see Mary get turned into a vampire, and then them just all start dropping like flies. So basically,
and she ran up out of there like, what the fuck? That was crazy. I was like, hold on, what? She took off. You guys,
like, we gonna kill all you.
Yeah, I was like, no.
So basically, they have the crew has to piece together what's going on.
And guess who fixed it? Guess who figured it out?
Annie. And once again, I like how I was listening to Kid Fury's take on this from The Read, and he was just talking about how he feels like being anti-witch is anti-Black, because a lot of times that was sort of the strategy to rip us away from our roots, and been like, oh, all of those old boogity practices, that's the devil. And it's like, ooh, you know, like now that we have the space to re-examine this, I think it's worth re-examining.
I agree.
Because, she ends up being, and I love how nobody pushed back on either. It's like, we doing what Annie said.
Of course.
It's like, but I mean, I'm just saying like that it was a good illustration of like, when it comes down to it, don't be like, why are we listening to this? Because that's what Stack calls her. Stack's the one who calls her a witch when he's trying to get let out, when he's a vampire now. He's like, Smoke, you listen to that witch? It's like, he's like, yes, I am.
Actually.
But just how, because we left this part out too. Smoke and Stack, the reason why Mary's mom had to raise, one of the reasons anyway, was because their mama died in childbirth, and their daddy was a mean old drunk who one time beat Stack so bad he passed out, and when Stack woke up, Smoke had killed him and was burying the body.
Wow.
So that just gives
his protector.
you
Yeah.
a example of how close these guys are, in addition to being twins.
Yeah.
So you just, Michael B. Jordan, oh
He
my
did a good
goodness.
job.
Just the pain and conflict he feels with having to move into acceptance that that's not his brother anymore.
Yeah.
Even though it looks like his brother, sounds like a brother. Part of his brother's soul is still trapped in there. And that's
Oh,
Remix
that's
using
sad.
that knowledge. And that's why Annie makes him promise, if I get bit, you gotta kill me. I need to get back to my baby. I don't want to be stuck in this
Halfway
in between,
space.
in this cursed state of being. So yeah, they gotta start strategizing. And there is one person who's not really on board with working together, and that's Grace. Because Grace is worried about her baby. Because her husband, Bo, gets turned into a vampire too, going
sure
out to get the
did.
car. And she's like, now that, you know, Remix got all of Bo's memories, he's like, oh, I know exactly where your daughter's at. And he said it to her in Chinese.
Oh, now that is scary. Now I will say that is kind
Yeah.
of like, damn. And he ever talking about, you know how I like my.
Yeah,
How
like
am I-
so she's on like, I don't care about none of y'all. I'm like, I'm just trying to save my baby.
That's
So
messed up.
yeah. But I think that's why her name was Grace. We gotta give her some grace, man. You know, she's just out here.
I mean, we ultimately do, but before we get there, can we drag her first, please? Because, bitch, we invited you into this fucking space. And I think that's what's so dangerous and that's what's so hurtful as Black folks in general is that, like, for the most part, we will invite people in outside and with all of the love in our hearts, like, really accept you in, make you part of the family and all of that kind of stuff. And when the chips are fucking down, you don't feel like you have to protect me because you're looking out after your own fucking self. You're not looking out for the greater good. You're looking out just for you.
and
you're
yours.
tapping into
Yeah.
that selfishness that we can kind of associate with air quotes whiteness, you
Well,
know,
she didn't
because
run
that's
the
what
white store, so maybe she was just more in tune with that sort of
she
thinking.
might have been. And also too, I can't say that like I don't understand the impulse to want to protect your own, to want to protect your children, your kids, and how you might be acting out of just, you know, fear. And, you know, I mean, damn, these vampires are up here naming her, talking about, you know, like you said, speaking in Chinese to you or whatever. And so like that is disheartening. But the thing is, y'all only had to make it to the morning though, bitch. And unless y'all invited them in, they wouldn't have been in here. And so you mean to tell me that you're willing in this moment, the people who've been fucking protecting you all this time, the people you make money off the backs of, you're willing to say fuck their safety in this moment? When really they weren't looking for your daughter, actually. They were coming for Sammy's motherfucking ass. That's who they were here for. If you was paying attention, bitch.
Annie pointed out they're not going anywhere.
But you were not listening though. That's my point. Y'all fucking be listening. And it's annoying as fuck. And then at the end of the day, I gotta have grace for your dumb ass. And I will. But I'm gonna talk about you first, bitch.
You gonna get lit up a little bit.
Yeah, because you
That's
stupid.
part of
You get on my
blackness, too. You gotta get
nerves.
roasted a little.
Yeah,
it's
that's
probably
just
because
welcome.
you earned it.
You earned it. So that made me shitty, but also I get it or whatever. But I gotta talk about your
Or
dumb ass
whatever.
first. God, it's like Grace, God damn it.
Yeah, Grace was she was one of them shook ones. So
That made me so mad. I was so
I
pissed.
know, and it's like you didn't consult with anybody first.
And
You
you-
just did it, because that was the thing too. My whole thing is like we should have knocked her
Should have
out.
choked her out. I pictured
Oh.
choking her. I remember we talked about how that's satisfying. Not like to death, guys. I'm saying like just
To
get that
unconsciousness.
bitch in the and just bring her
Yeah.
down to the floor real slow and lay her dumb
I
ass
was
down.
just knocked her out quicker.
No, that's what I'm saying. I wanted the satisfaction of seeing you pass the fuck out. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
sorry.
Day, Grace. Yeah. I mean, the points were made.
Just saying.
Let me
Just
see
saying.
there. Yeah.
All right, so after that,
But after that,
now all the vampires got to come in there because she said
Yeah, you made a couple Molotov cocktails, and then
like that was really gonna do it.
So
Bitch, what were
of
you
course,
prepared to
she
do?
gets big. Everybody gets
Dumbass.
You know what I mean? Pretty much, only people that are really left after all of that carnage is Smoke and Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, the sun's about to come up. We do get the scene where Stack and Smoke have to fight each other.
Oh, that was sad.
That was sad, but for one, his mojo bag protected him that Annie made for him.
Yeah, the witch herbs. And the little satchel.
Yeah, Stack wasn't able to actually bite him because of that. And actually, when Cornbread tried to bite him too, the mojo bag saved him.
I wanted to go back to that because that was a super funny scene.
That
was
is going
so
down in Black cinema history.
Funny.
Oh, this movie was hilarious. This movie was a comedy.
It was so much. It was everything. It had a little bit of everything. You got it all, man.
Which is hard to do.
It just is.
Because usually it'd be like, it was all over the place. No, it was so cohesive. Like
it was
life, because life is all of those things.
All of those things. It was just so funny because it was like Delroy Lindo's character had to stand at the door to wait because Cornbread was like, I gotta use the bathroom. He's in these giant overalls or whatever. He goes out to pee. Of course, the vampires heckling him was hilarious. Talking about, I love cornbread. I was like, this is so silly.
Disrespectful, but that was so funny.
Hilarious, okay?
And he's like,
yeah. And it took forever for his ass to come back.
Because that's the parts that reminded me of Thriller. Like some of the
with the
elements
eyeballs and stuff.
For one, when they have that scene with Remick and they're all dancing and stuff like that. I forget what that little song they were singing, but like whenever he was outside with the vampires and they were singing like after he had turned Mary and stuff. Yeah, that reminded me of Thriller. But go ahead. When he
just the cornbread, him trying to come back into the actual.
And the fact that Cornbread, you can tell Cornbread was a Southern gentleman because no count niggas would have just peed by the door. But I'm saying, like, he went out into the woods to do his business. Yeah. Because a lot of times people wouldn't even do,
we out here
lazy and stuff. Yeah. But he went off to be polite so everybody wouldn't have to smell his piss.
Urine,
or urine. That's a better, yes, more proper word for it. And so while he's being a good boy, damn. But you should never.
Can't turn it back, man.
You can't. Every day you have to fight. You should not really go anywhere by yourself.
That's crazy. Y'all both would have just been vampires at that point,
Maybe, but it's more of a fight. You know what I'm saying? You just have the same reason we go to the bathroom in pairs.
It's true.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just going to be, a lot of criminals are lazy. Let's just say most people are lazy. If you make things kind of hard, people will give up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good.
But yeah, Cornbread gets turned and he tries to come back a bit. When he tries to come back in,
that was just so funny.
That's amazing. Everyone
just go see it. It was awesome.
Okay, but yeah, we get down to Sammy and Smoke, and that everything was so good about it, but it basically they both end up being able to kill the main vampire, and as he does that, the sun comes out and kills all the auxiliary vampires except for Stack and Mary, or maybe a couple others too. We don't really know, but we see a bunch of them. The majority of them get burnt up. And then we go back to Sammy going to the church, and then we have Smoke, who he was tipped off by the vampires that the Klan was coming to kill everybody. This is a scam they run a couple times on Black people where they sell the mill and then just kill them the next day. Nice little money-making scheme for them. But I get the feeling that Stack and Smoke already knew that, being gangsters and all. Because they even make a point when they buy it, they're like, what's this on the floor?
Yeah, all the blood. Right, like they hadn't even cleaned it. They didn't even bother to clean it up. That's nasty.
Klan members are trifling.
That's really gross.
So, yeah.
And they had all that
artillery.
Yeah, they had
kept
all
saying
these
they're
guns
going
and
to
stuff.
the trunk.
Yeah,
I love that. It was like, yeah, we gotta get the trunk.
Yeah.
Oh, because that was the thing too. Just everything about this was so good when they killed that snake together.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Oh, and the fact that was kind of foreshadowing for Smoke killing Remick,
the vampire.
Yeah, because he lands the kill blow. Anyway, watching him kill a bunch of Klan members was
the final scene. I don't think I smiled harder in my life.
Just the cherry on that beautiful ass Sunday. I tell you what. Oh, just picking him off.
And I was scared that he wasn't gonna do it. I thought he was gonna pass out and die, and that white man was still gonna be lying there with his big ass.
That was scary. Actually, I was scared of that too.
And the fact that he turned around and looked at him and was like,
I was in the middle of that.
I was like, yes.
And the fact that he made him give him a cigarette. Because the other thing too is I don't think Smoke knew how to roll. That was the other thing too. Stack
His brother
always
rolled
rolled
his
the
cigarettes.
So
Yeah.
because even
That
when he
was
was
so
with Annie,
cute.
he just smoked a pipe. But yeah, just that little thing right there of like, damn, I'm not even gonna have the satisfaction of smoking a cigarette before I die. And he was like, nah, I'm getting a cigarette.
And he gave it to him.
And dude was like, I got money. He was like, bitch, you got my money. What are
And you
talking
got these
about?
bullets in your chest and abdomen.
And the fact that he just was like, I'm going out like this. He took the Mojo bag off and was like, this is gonna be it. Just gorgeous.
It was beautiful. I
But
really,
then,
really
we
liked it.
get Sammy walking into. We get to the
Back to
where
the
we
church.
started, which is also excellent storytelling, bookending these scenes.
Hero story.
And he walks in the church, and his father's like, "Are you ready to give up that evil guitar?" And Sammy's like, "No,
Not really.
I'm like, even after all that, I'm really. I think this gives me so much enjoyment and fulfillment. I'm gonna keep doing that,
Yeah.
and he does. He
Because
opens
what's
up.
the alternative then? You know?
Well, I'm gonna finish up the story real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah,
and I'll
yeah.
tell you what the alternative
Yeah,
is.
come back. Let me
Because
know.
we end the movie with Sammy as an old man playing blues in a club called Perlene's, which was the name of his little crush. Also, Perlene wasn't shit.
She was married, getting her coochie ate at the damn things, singing
And
all
also
happily
didn't leave the
after the
garlic.
fact.
I was like,
yeah, bitch.
Man, but she was very beautiful.
Nah, yeah. I mean, she was, but it's like that ain't enough, y'all. That's what
Like
that was
I
about.
said, they were trying to make it seem like that was the
Yeah,
love of his
fuck
life.
outta
It's like
here.
that was just some broad you met at the club
Thank
for
you.
real.
Who let you hear coochie as soon as you met her? Yeah, yeah.
Off rip. So,
Perlene went shit.
I probably
Oh
would.
my god.
But peace to Pearlie.
Hey,
you know what
do
I
your
mean?
thing,
She was-
girl.
she
Do
was-
your thing. Your husband probably went shit either. Though,
He's
so.
like, you bring your husband. She was like,
No, I'm the one to bring home the bacon. I do what I want.
Jesus.
Okay, anyhow.
So yeah, and then he drives off, and then there's a post-credit scene where we get to see. And when I first saw the movie, I missed it. I just went home. I was tired. It was like 1 a.m. So, but yeah, we get to see a post-credit scene, and we see that Stack and Mary, they're still living as vampires, Coogee sweater down, and he comes in and he tells Sammy, he's like, "Hey, you want me to turn you? You about to die?" And
He
was-
sniffed him like,
Yeah, he was like, "I smell it on you." He's
Ugh,
like,
that's nasty.
"Those are vampires. They're very gross."
Ugh.
And so Sammy's like, "Nah, I've seen enough." He's like, I'm
Yeah,
good. And he's like, all right then, because I promised my brother I wouldn't bite you. So
Yeah.
here we go.
That was
And stuff
nice.
like that. But he was like, hey, though, before you go, he was like, man, before all that shit with the vampires, that was the best day of my life. First time I ever felt free.
Man.
And Stack was like, yeah, me too.
Aw,
And
that
it was,
so nice.
yeah. And then it ends with another post-credit scene where we see Sammy singing This Little Light of Mine.
Was he in church?
Yeah, he was in the church.
So what is that? Okay.
Well,
What do you
but
think
it was
that
with the guitar before it was broken.
Okay, so he was
we're-
just- okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that was just a flat. That was just a whatever.
Okay.
Just a little, non sequitur. Sammy singing This Little Light of Mine.
Okay.
Which
He can sing.
He really
Sammy,
can
the
sing.
actor,
That
what was his
voice.
name again? Miles Catton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miles
Miles
he
was
out
really,
there.
really, really good. Learned to play the guitar for this role, and her encouraged him. The artist, her.
Yes, 'cause she was
they-
touring. They were-
Yes,
he was
touring
opening for
together.
her.
She's like, this will be perfect for you.
Oh,
And it was. You were right, her. Shout out to
very
you
much so.
for encouraging that
But
young
to
man.
answer your question about what's the alternative
Yeah,
to
what's
living an authentic life,
Yes, friend.
it's what most people do. The Front Fest. You brought it up.
Aw, man.
Yeah, that's what most people.
Ooh, it hurts though.
Yeah.
Like that's. I mean,
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
think This Little Light of Mine was the perfect way to end it.
I'ma let it shine.
Yeah, everywhere I go.
It's so hard to do.
It
though.
is.
Because again,
It's like fighting vampires.
racism, vampires.
Yeah,
Expectations of
potholes.
Man,
It's just there's always something.
it's just always something. Man.
But that's why every day you have to fight, and sometimes the fight's harder on some days than others.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why that's why you gotta every day work out a little bit, man. You just every day.
And you know what I did like too? One of my favorite scenes also was when they finally found Delroy's, what was his, Delta Slim at the station or whatever.
stop.
They're in the car. The beautiful scene, like when you saw the cotton fields and stuff, like them in the car, I just thought that was beautifully shot.
I can't wait to see that in
It
IMAX.
was freaking gorgeous.
Oh, those colors.
So beautiful. And then you have them all sitting in the car talking and stuff. And they were talking about somebody got killed. They got
Well, they're
hung.
driving by a chain gang. And he
That's what it was.
speaks some encouraging words to the black men in this chain gang.
Mm-hmm.
And when one of the men, like, you know, acknowledge him, you hear that shot. Every time, that's scarier than being bit. I was like, because that's real.
Horror, terror,
very real. And he starts recounting the story about one of his friends, because Sam asked him, he's like, you know some of them? He's like, I know all of them.
Yeah,
and he says one of his friends who, you know, they had got a bag and he was gonna move out to Arkansas, and the Klan, when they saw how much money he had, killed him, hung him, cut his meat, and took his money. And it's like you said, like the money, we think the money will keep us safe, but it won't.
You safe, man.
It's
because they're vampires and they want your body. They want your blood. Like they don't. It's not enough just to have your money. They want to have you. They want to suck. It's like this movie to me really just highlighted, you know, just the similarities between, you know, just even like the way our culture is now, and how you know, you want, like, Remy's character being like the manifestation of, like, they want our music, they want everything except for you, right? They want this uniformity. They want you to conform. And in order to do that, you have to exchange, like, almost you have to exchange your gifts and your talents to be a part of this collective. But really, it's not like they're offering you any kind of life. They're offering you it's death. It's always death.
Well, the culture vulture.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
was in the fact that there were even actual vultures around that were flying around the Jew and flying around that white couple's house.
Damn.
Yeah, like, because that's I think that's how the Choctaw knew where to go.
Oh, because he saw the vulture. Yeah, probably.
Because the vultures know. They're like, I'm about to get a meal.
They can smell it, just like the vampires.
Nature. And not for nothing, I brought up Star Trek, microbiome. That's how a lot of the communication with your microbiome happens with your olfactory system. So, yeah, because that's that nonverbal, like that primal, that instinct.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that. But yeah, but when he's telling that story and he starts slapping his leg and then he just starts singing a song.
That pivoting toward the blues, man. And being like, seeing that's where blues music came from, the most authentic, maybe arguably the most American form of music, like the most original, and the birthplace of most music. I think most stuff comes from the blues. You know, you talk about rock and roll, hip hop, which also made that scene that we talked about so compelling, because it's like, yeah, this was the birthplace of so many genres of music that we love, whether people like to acknowledge that or not. And how music is it's like that, it's what we use to get through pain. It's so powerful. It helps us transcend our pain, but it also helps us express it, because when you don't have anything else, it's like you create a universe almost that helps you escape, you know, from the pain that you're feeling in that moment. So I love that they illustrated that, especially with black men too.
For sure.
Seeing that, it was like, yes.
I mean, I brought up the Trevor Noah because he had an artist on there and he was just talking about how the need to create art is encoded in our DNA. He's like, you look at any civilization over time, anywhere, they made art. Like we're made to make art. Yeah. And when you don't, it's painful. I think that's what Sammy had to realize. It's like anything that's trying to stop me from making my art isn't the movement. The same way anybody trying to take my art, because that culture. Let's talk about Elvis Presley real quick.
Oh.
So he's, when I was growing up, he was called the king of rock and roll. And you would think that rock and roll would have been like the invention of Elvis Presley. But I would encourage anyone listening to this, after this, listen to, because you know that ain't nothing but a hound dog. Okay, so that was just a ripoff of Big Mama Thornton's songs, Hound Dog. Listen to those two things and tell me who did it. Okay. Who wore it better?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even just Chuck Berry, all of his stuff.
All of them, Little Richard, all of them. Like and it's important to go to the source, because I mean, I don't want to drag Elvis. He had some bops.
I mean, he did what he was allowed to do. I mean, the thing is you feel entitled to it because the path is paved for you. Yeah. And you're not. I mean, you're a beneficiary of being able to take something that already existed and put it in the packaging that, air quotes, everybody wanted to be in. Like, that's just part of it. Like, I think a lot of black artists understood and it was made apparent that like, yeah, like we like what you have, but the packaging, we don't want you to be a hero to our children. We don't want you in our bedrooms and homes.
No.
You
Remember
know?
in 5 Heartbeats
Come on.
when they were trying to
Oh my God,
they're trying to have
the
that
cover
record.
of it, yes, the 5
where there was
Heartbeats.
like
Excuse me? Yes.
yeah.
So it's very much that.
Let's take this right out. Let's take a break. Come back.
Okay, we'll come back. Guys, we'll be right back. We'll be right black.
We'll be white black.
We'll be white black. All right, guys, welcome back from the break. I don't know, friend. This book to me
Was it a book?
yeah, in my mind, it was. Yes.
It's a great book.
It was a book of lives, and no, I can't clean that up. No, it wasn't a book. God, it was a movie.
The script
It felt like a book.
Yeah.
Started off as words on a page.
Yes,
I'm sure.
it did. This piece of
And-
media, chef's kiss.
Very, very well done.
You know what I would love? If
What?
he came out with like a director's edition. Because, you know, sometimes there's a cinematic edit and then the director will be like, here's a more longer, like what I wanted to do.
Ooh,
kind of
right. No
vibe.
guardrails. If I just got to get it on the
Yeah.
floor like I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like it. Do you think this movie could be a sequel?
Oh, definitely. And a prequel.
Would you love it?
Listen, I feel like all vampire stories should be series. I mentioned the Anne Rice vampire series early. I read all those books in high school. Yes, I was that girl. And yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think we probably should go ahead and rate this book then, friend. I'll make you go first.
Ooh, okay.
How would you rate Sinners?
Ooh, well, it's definitely a 5 out of 5. I'm just gonna say guitars. 5 out of 5 vampire killing guitars.
I like it. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. Maybe gold teeth.
Okay, grills.
Yeah, go girls, man.
Yeah. Oh, the style. We didn't even get time to really talk
We
about the
didn't. It's
style.
okay, though,
Even the
'cause-
fact that Stack dressed more like the Italians and Smoke dressed like the Irish.
Yeah, because they were in Chicago before. That's where they were fleeing from. So yeah, maybe that was a not. Because then I was like, was this like a Bloods and Crips thing too with the red and blue?
I think
Since
it's
he's
just
from,
more. I think Italians are just more
Cougars.
flashy, and the Irish don't really. They're like,
put on the cap or whatever.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
little more understated. A little. I don't know, but
The
once again,
style, yeah, their styling and stuff, but just like it could be a nod to that. I mean, he's from Oakland. or
I'm just saying the
whatever.
colors. Oh yeah, Crips and Bloods. Yeah,
maybe that too. Maybe it was layered. I mean, he's a
There's-
complex man.
That's
So.
why it bears rewatching. I get I see something more every single time I watch that. So,
I recommend this. I think.
yeah.
I think
Who wouldn't like this? I think
If
that's always
you-
more fun to talk about. Who would hate this movie?
I feel like my mom would be somebody who I'd have to be like, no, you have to be able to get past the gore. I think if you don't like gore, even though the whole movie isn't gory,
I don't
think
like gore.
Right, but I think you can get past it. But I think if you really, really don't like gore and can't take it, it could be maybe tough parts of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
My
that's
mom
those are
would
the only
hate
people.
this movie. I don't even talk to my mom about this movie. You lost her at the title.
Oof, yeah. I think you lost a lot of black folks.
You
with
lost
the,
a lot of
churchy black folks with the title of
with
sinners.
the title. But I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. So
Not sinners.
or I really that one quote I did. I don't know if I still have it. Just about how it was. A post by indigenous person who was talking about how like sinner
Doesn't even exist,
doesn't
man.
exist in their
In their
language
words,
and their
yeah.
grandpa put them on game. It's like that word is a manipulation.
I think it is. I think that is also kind of maybe some subtext in this
I
story in
think so,
terms of
too.
just like,
I
I mean,
think
what
it's
even is a sinner?
Yeah.
Like, you know, is it, yeah, like, I mean,
As he
complex.
pointed it out, there's choice. Let me see if I can
There's
find it because that was
choices,
a
yeah.
beautiful quote.
again.
There you go. Quote. I was very young when someone called me sinner. I got curious because in our language there is no such word, so I decided to ask my grandfather about it. He said there's no such thing. Our consciousness does not recognize this kind of words because it was made to manipulate and put guilt in our hearts. There are no sins. What we have is choices, and sometimes we make mistakes. Fear is what people use to take away your freedom. Do not allow anybody to do this to you again, grandson. Gianna Crow.
Oh God, I
End
love
quote.
that.
Your body belongs to you.
What a way to end it. Like, yeah, period. I feel like we should just read that at the end of every show.
That's like our pledge.
Yes,
like,
right. We come in with the dedications. We go out with.
Well, we have our choices.
We have our choices, guys.
But yeah, use those choices to honor yourself, your ancestors, and the future ancestors.
Yeah, and do yourself a favor and go see this movie, man.
Whoa.
This is a beautifully
even
made
if you
film.
think you're not, because I really was just going because Ryan Coogler. I wanted to add to the box office, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I was like, I wasn't ready
It was
for it
so
to be
good.
this. I knew it was gonna be good. I wasn't ready for it to be this good.
Yeah, I really did like it. I think I'm trying to think of somebody else who wouldn't like this book. I mean, I keep calling it a book. Whatever. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
It's not the craziest thing you said.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's space for that. I guess you could watch this and maybe feel like, like I don't know the similarities. I haven't seen From Dusk Till Dawn in a long time.
Tarantino, so it's
So
way
it's gory
gorier.
too? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good though.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it, and
Yeah.
then maybe I can rewatch it and talk
I
about
haven't
it.
seen it since the 1900s.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it because
yeah.
I feel like I just heard somebody saying like it was basically that. Because
Once
I mean,
again, it's similar in the way that it was similar to all the
vampire movies, right?
Yeah,
Like
well, not
you-
vampire movies, even the like Color Purple. You know what I mean? Like
okay.
it's similar
Okay.
because it's
Right, there's nothing new under the sun. He's not like
Yeah,
reinventing something.
yeah.
Okay. Well, anywho, so maybe that could be a critique, but I can't say that. 'Cause
But I
don't
know I didn't feel this way after seeing From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, yeah, because I would probably remember it
Yeah.
more, but it's been
Yeah.
a long time. So anywho, yeah, I'm gonna rewatch that. You guys definitely go out and see Sinners, support this movie. Let us know what you thought. If you have any, if you didn't like it, I'm curious to hear from you. What didn't you like? You guys hit us up on social media. Let us know. And before we get out of here, we probably need to spin the wheel. So what do you think, friend? Spin it.
Okay.
Well,
so
well,
we're
well.
gonna stick with music
Okay.
a little bit here. So we're going to be reading. Bear with me. Brothers be, yo, George, ain't that funkin' kind of hard on you? A memoir
Let's go.
by George Clinton.
All right, let's go. I like
Yeah.
it. The Musical Men. Let's get into it. What an icon too. George Clinton is something else. What a
Yes.
character.
Maybe May will be Black Men Month.
Okay.
I like black men.
I do too. We be changing our minds a lot, so
And we never changed our mind about it. We've
not
always,
about liking black men.
Oh,
I mean
about
about
what?
just what we're gonna review the next
Oh.
week. God, Cat, jeez. Not like we. Good, you know what? We're out of here. I'm so sick of it.
I misunderstood.
Well, I'm glad you said that because if somebody else thought I was saying that, that's
Oh,
crazy.
right. Well,
Wasn't saying that. I'm just saying like we have been known to say what we're gonna review and then the next week it be something totally different
I would
because
say
we're
all kind of stuff.
free women of color.
Yes, we are. It's,
Do what we
it's
want.
our podcast. If
Yeah.
we can't do what we want on our podcast.
Then hello.
Then what is the point of America?
That is so true. So you guys, until next week, do the things you love. And Kat, you already said it, but if you want,
Your body belongs to you, so use it to go see sinners.
that's right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.